friends, this is Preeti, and today I wanted to talk to you about perennials that are still blooming all the way till October in my garden. And if you are looking for things that will have a long bloom time or will be blooming later in the season, I wanted to show you perennials that are blooming in my garden. And my first perennial that I want to talk about is the rose. Roses are fantastic perennials that depending on the variety will bloom the entire season, and there are so many hybrids now that continuously bloom, flush out blooms, and I have many roses in my garden that are still blooming in my garden this Thanksgiving Day in Canada. So I think they are a lovely plant to add to your garden if you want long blooms. And I can show you many varieties that are still blooming in my garden. So here is one. This one is Moody Blue, and it is still blooming in my garden. It's amazing, gorgeous, lots and lots of more blooms on it, and they will still bloom even if there is a light frost. They can still survive it. They may not look the best, but they will survive it, and they'll continue to bloom till there is a hard frost. And here is another sample of a rose that is blooming. So this is the more common variety. This is the Oh So Easy double red. I think these are available, and this is full of buds and full of color and full of bloom. This is now almost mid-October, and they are fully in bloom, and look at the amount of buds on this, right? So this is definitely one of my number one perennials to plant in your garden, the rose. If you want blooms and you like blooms and you want blooms to be there in late fall as well, these are still blooming in my garden. And let's see if there are other roses blooming on this side of my garden. So here are some more roses that are blooming, and it's just so gorgeous. Look at this one. This one is Peach Perfect Rose, and I have also Rosie the Riveter Rose, and look at how many buds are on this beautiful rose, and it's just gorgeous. Like, I absolutely love roses in my garden, and that's the reason why, because I get to enjoy these blooms for a really long time in the garden. And this is another one that is super gorgeous. I also have this other variety. This is a carpet rose that has also been blooming all summer, like it hasn't stopped. And here is another one that is coming out of its bloom, and I think I have some more on this side that are also blooming. So roses definitely number one on my list. This is a new plant that I put in this year. This is a David Austin rose. So it is still blooming, and I'm excited, and lots of buds. So that's definitely my number one plant, perennial plant that I would put in if you want blooms all the way into fall. Next plant I want to talk about blooming all the way through fall is Agastaki. Agastaki is such a wonderful plant to add in your garden. It comes in a variety of colors, and it's just beautiful. This one here that I have, I don't know the name. It's beautiful coral pink flowers, and this has been blooming non-stop for a long time in my garden, and it's still blooming. And this is now, I think, going to bloom till hard frost all the way. So Agastaki is another plant. If you want longer lasting blooms all the way into fall, I would definitely plant this one. This one is not fussy about soil conditions. It likes the more it thrives on neglect, and you don't really have to do much to this plant, and it's going to give you back so much. The pollinators absolutely love this plant, and it is definitely my number two perennial for something that will give you blooms all the way through fall. So love it. I haven't even come out and deadheaded this plant, and it's been doing absolutely beautifully in my garden. So definitely recommend this plant. Next perennial that I would recommend for blooms all through the fall until hard frost is Geranium Roseanne. This one has been blooming since June, non-stop, without any breaks, and it's just gorgeous. As you can see, this plant is covered in blooms, and it has so many more buds too that are waiting to open. So if you want something with this beautiful bright purple color, low growing, and something in the front of your border perhaps where it can spill over and keep growing for the entire summer into fall, I would highly recommend Geranium Roseanne. Again, this plant does not require a lot of care, it doesn't require any deadheading, it will just keep on giving, and this is definitely on my top perennial list as well. And I love this plant, and I would highly recommend anyone who wants blooms all the way through fall, through hard frost, this beautiful Geranium Roseanne. This is my number 3 perennial that I would put in my garden for blooms straight through into fall. My number 4 perennial that I would recommend is this beautiful Panicle Hydrangea. Any Panicle Hydrangea, I feel like they keep on giving. They bloom from summer through fall, and what's lovely is that in the fall all of them turn some shade of pink. So if you look at this one, this has turned a gorgeous shade of pink, and with the cooler nights it just acquires this beautiful color. And if you want color straight till frost, I would definitely put in Panicle Hydrangeas. There are many varieties out there. There are many proven winner varieties. There are many other varieties as well outside of proven winners that you can buy. Just any Panicle Hydrangea. They give you beautiful creamish white blooms in the summer, and then these beautiful pink rose colored flowers as they age, and then in the winter this still looks good and offers a lot of winter interest with these large flower heads just dried up on this plant, and it just adds so much beauty in the winter garden as well. So definitely would recommend Panicle Hydrangeas as my number 4 perennial that you can add to your garden. So this is a shrub, and you can add this to your garden, and they come in many different sizes, right from 2 to 3 feet to 8 to 10 feet tall and wide. So you can decide based on your space which size works for your garden, but they offer so much flexibility and so much beauty in your garden that you're able to, I'm sure you'll find one that you can tuck in your garden somewhere and enjoy these beautiful blooms. My number 5 perennial that I will tell you about that is still going to bloom for you in the fall is Nepeta. Nepeta is one of those perennials that will just keep on giving if you keep on shearing it, and it will keep on blooming. And it has these beautiful delicate blue blooms that just look gorgeous in the garden, and they just, I mean, in the fall, the blooms are not going to be as prolific as their previous flushes, but they're still blooming and they're still looking beautiful. And I would definitely recommend this plant for continuous blooming throughout the season, and especially into fall when we kind of crave this color to kind of linger and stay. We want as much blooms as possible, and this is just another wonderful perennial to add to your garden that will keep on blooming. And the pollinators absolutely love this plant, and you will just find this to be so non-fussy and beautiful in your garden, and it's going to look gorgeous in your garden. So this is again my number 5th perennial that I would recommend for your fall garden. 6 on my list is reblooming irises, and I was really shocked by this one that rebloomed for me. I recently planted it in the spring, and I absolutely really love having an iris here in the fall. So if you're considering planting iris, look for the reblooming varieties, because you will be really amazed by these blooms in the fall. When you're not expecting irises to bloom, you see this blooming. A lot of people stop and ask me, well, how come your iris is blooming? And a lot of people don't know there are reblooming varieties that will bloom again in the fall. So again, it's a really nice different flower texture and shape that blooms in your garden at this time of the year if you have the reblooming iris varieties. So definitely consider adding this perennial to your garden if you are looking to add something different that will bloom in the fall. Here is another plant that is still blooming in my garden, and this is the lavender. So lavender can also bloom for me based on the varieties all through the fall, and it is just a beautiful plant to add to your garden because it's going to keep on blooming and attract pollinators, and it smells so wonderful. I would highly recommend, if you can grow lavender, you know, to plant lavender in your garden and enjoy them through the summer through fall, because they are just beautiful, they smell amazing, and the bees are just so happy with this plant in the garden. They're always on this plant, and I love how this looks in the garden and how it performs for me here. And again, do not give it too much love, neglect it, do not overwater it, and free draining gritty soil is what it needs, and it's happy plant. And the next one that I will talk about is right behind it. This is the Sedum Autumn Joy, and it is such a joy in the fall garden. This is the one plant that actually really stands out in the fall garden, and it speaks fall for me at least. And I love seeing it in my garden bloom in the fall, and it's just one plant I really look forward to. And when it blooms, you cannot miss the blooms, and you will see them, and it just looks fabulous. So I highly recommend this plant for every garden because it's so non-fussy, it's so beautiful, and it just loves to keep on giving, and so easy to move, propagate throughout your garden. I mean, I have moved this plant everywhere in my garden, and it's just from one or two mother plants I have created so many. So it's just a fabulous plant, and if you are looking for something that is again non-fussy, does not require any fertilizer, just loves to, and it's going to bloom this pretty color, like what else are we looking for? So this is just another fabulous plant, perennial, to add to your garden, and it is just absolutely beautiful, and I absolutely love this plant. And this is Sedum Autumn Joy, and that's all the perennials I wanted to talk to you today about. Oh, there is one more that I wanted to talk about. There are so many still blooming in my garden that I can't forget some of them. So the next one I would talk about is Veronica, also called Speedwell. So this is another perennial that will keep on blooming in your garden till a very hard frost. And as you can see on this one, I haven't even deadheaded it, but there are lots and lots of new blooms on it that keep on going, and it is just a beautiful, fabulous plant for your garden. And I highly recommend this one for your September garden as well, October garden as well, and this will bloom right through hard frost. So with that, I wanted to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some good ideas for perennials that are long blooming, that are going to keep blooming for you into late fall. And I hope you find these, or if you have them in your garden, do let me know. And if there are other favorites that I may have missed talking about, do let me know in comments below. I'd love to hear which ones are still blooming for you, and which ones you love in your garden in the fall. And with that, I wanted to thank everyone so much for watching this video. If you've liked this video, do give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already subscribed for more planting videos from me. And I hope everyone has a fabulous day wherever you're joining me from. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Thanksgiving to all Canadian viewers who are watching this video today. And I hope you had a fabulous Thanksgiving weekend.